You are so dumb.
Sensation.
That was different. Difference. Same thing. Get this out of the way. Attention, attention. This content may include explicit material. Viewer discretion is advised. The intention is not to offend, but to provide information. Proceed only if you are comfortable with potentially sensitive topics, maybe a little cussing here and there. Also, I am not a therapist, a counselor, or any of that, nor do I pretend to be. That is not my intention. I am healing in real life, and you can come along for the journey. Hopefully, you're taking care of your own shit. Thank you very much. Okay. Welcome back to an early episode of The Trust Tree. I am your trustee, the Nashvino. We're a little bit early today because we got some unwrapped business to take care of. So, you're going to take me a little early. Pause maybe, I don't know, whatever. Can y'all believe it's episode 16? Yeah, we out here in these streets. The tree is flourishing. There's leaves and shit. Even though the leaves about to fall off because, it's about that time of year. But also this weekend, I believe, is daylight saving. So we get an hour back. Oh, damn. I don't know. I'm just real sick of passing legislation on dumb shit that pass some legislation on some coins, okay? Fucking daylight savings time. It's crazy. So I hope everybody had a fabulous weekend and is off to a good start for this week. Halloween is this week. I hope you, if you into that, I hope you got something cool planned. If you like to scare the shit out of yourself, I heard the 13th floor is still off the chain. I don't have the blood pressure to handle that shit. So let me know how it was if you partake. So it's going to be short and sweet today. I didn't want to leave you with nothing because I am not rude and I care about you. I do. I do this for you. I do. So it's not you, it's me. We're going to be the change, right? We're not going to talk about it. We're going to do it. That's what we're doing. Yes. So we want to keep going in that same frequency. I was thinking about this question. Are you happy? Then I thought about it. I don't really like that question because happiness is fleeting. So you could be happy today, but you may not be happy tomorrow. Or maybe you're not happy today, but you will be tomorrow. So I don't want us to answer that question. I'd rather us answer what's missing, right? Do I like me? Like, what's missing from the me that I want to be? So, you know how when you want to get a new cell phone, or maybe you want to get a new car, or you're thinking about what you want to do for your birthday. So like you're looking for an outfit, you know what I'm saying? Like you're looking for inspiration. Like let's take that same fucking energy, specifically buying a new cell phone, because people go hard for that. Let's take that energy and that motivation and let's use that to design the new version of us that we want to be, right? So however that looks like to you, I say the simplest way to do that would be to create a Pinterest board and let's call it the future me, the me I'm becoming, however you want to call it, and just kind of look around, like look up some things, things about yourself that you are interested in changing, improving, completely getting rid of. Like, do some research, like check that out and work on that. And then I would say from there, you kind of come up with a goals list, like a plan, and work on that, because you definitely have the ability to reinvent yourself as many times as you need to. And I mean, that could be something as simple as changing your hair, or I don't know, getting a new tattoo, or maybe changing your wardrobe. Who gives a damn? Whatever that means to you. But yeah, like put forth effort into making that happen. Like actually do some research. Like you can design the version of you that you're trying to become. So we spend a lot less time with I wish, I want, man, I wish I could do this, or no, just go do it. Go do it. It's just that simple. I promise it is. Um I really, 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 really hope that everybody understands when I talk about being kind to yourself, like really how serious I am. Like, I know sometimes we have great days, right? We're laughing, we're smiling, everybody around us is having great days, like the vibe is great. But that just out of the 30, 31 days in a month, you might have 7 days that are like that if you're lucky. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who are struggling in real life, and every day when they wake up is a struggle. We owe it to ourselves to love on ourselves. Like, you have to love on yourself. However you do that. Like, you matter, it's important. Like, if you're not nice and delicate with yourself, it makes everything else just that much more fucking difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like also when we take the time to treat ourselves better and love on ourselves, we realize that I'm not going to take this shit from somebody else. We also show people how to treat us. Like, you could teach people how to treat you by them watching how you treat yourself. The way you talk about yourself to other people, the way you process compliments that people might give you, all that comes into play with somebody kind of learning you and really determining whether they're going to try to play you or not, in my opinion, you know? So stop looking for validation from other people. Stop looking for other people to make you happy. Stop looking for other people to make you feel love. Love yourself. And the rest will take care of itself, you know? Also, you never know when you start to treat yourself better, how you'll identify people in your life that could be tipping the tank a little bit, you know? Like, I think if you stop, slow down, and start with you, and at the smallest form, like, break yourself down, you know? Not necessarily in a negative way, but you really need to sit and spend time with yourself and discover where you're starting from, you know? I came across something super interesting, and it's 80% versus 20% for all of these different things. So health is 80% eating, 20% exercising. Wealth is 80% habits, 20% math. Happiness is 80% purpose, 20% fun. Talking is 80% listening, 20% speaking. Improving is 80% persistence, 20% ideas. Learning is 80% understanding and 20% reading. And then relationships are 80% giving and 20% receiving. So in each one of these points, if you focus on the 80%, shit should start falling into place. Now, I feel like some might be a little bit easier than others, you know, and it depends on too which one is your particular area of focus, because you know nobody has the exact same struggles. You know, you might be financially fine, but everything else is a shit show. So depending on how that is for you, you know, you might need to focus on one or more of these things a little bit more. But one of these I thought was super, super valuable is the talking part, right? So a lot of people, they just listen to respond. And that's not actually listening, you know? Like, if you listen to understand, you definitely will have a lot better conversations, maybe even a lot less conflict in your life. And that also comes into play when you need to learn things. You know, people in the creative space, people in the corporate world, whether you're a student in some kind of way, even a parent, a spouse. Listening is the key to understanding. So sometimes when we are arguing with people, you know, we're sitting there just waiting for the opportunity to just jump in and just completely go. Let's just go in, right? But if you stop doing that, waiting for the opportunity to just say whatever it is that you got to say, you might actually understand where the person's coming from and you know, gain a new perspective on whatever the situation might be. So just something to think about. as far as that's concerned, especially with relationships, giving 80% and receiving 20%, whether it's a marriage, a work relationship, parenting. We need to be a little bit more selfless and understanding in situations. Um, and then also you just give selflessly. Like, I think if we stop giving to get something in return, that also that might come off a little bit better, and maybe we might feel a little bit better. Also, maybe not feel so slighted. Give because it's on your heart to give to somebody. Don't worry about what you get in return. Like, I don't think that should really be a consideration at all. It's just my humble opinion, though. But I thought those were really interesting, especially also with the wealth. We're coming up on the holiday season, and everybody is so focused on giving the best gift. And I mean, sometimes it's just not possible for people to really do that. Everybody ain't out here with the money to really make everybody's dream come true for Christmas. So you know wealth is something that I'm pretty sure we all could use some work on. 80% habit and 20% math is genius, because those are behaviors. Like, if you have a budget and you go over your budget every month, behaviors. You can track how you spend and figure out where the holes are. Like, this is where I go wrong every single time. Like, patterns, things of that nature. These really come into play with lots of different things. But just something to put on your bird, something for you to think about. Strengthening the roots of our tree, healing and unlearning, repairing the damage that's already done to the tree, and moving forward and improving and being the best version of us that we can be. Some of the things that while we're preparing for the planning stage, right? Last week we talked about breaking up with the old version of us, right? If you're in a position where you're just not feeling the version of you that you're seeing, you want to improve some things, you want to change some things, you got to cut that tree down and let another one grow, right? But that might not necessarily be doable. So maybe the whole tree is not poison, right? There's just a couple of things we might need to fix. So to prepare the damage that maybe some of the toxicity in our life has done, the poisoning that it's done to our roots, we can focus on unlearning some toxic things that we picked up along the way, and then also taking it slow with ourselves and just working on that healing journey. Reflection, like really actually like sitting and reflecting on things, right? Like healing is a lot of thinking. It's a lot of sitting, being still, and reflecting on what's going on, right? Because we can't actually improve or make a change if we don't really even know what we're improving or making a change on, right? There's a lot of being still and figuring out, okay, what am I saying? What's going on? Like, what is it about me that I want to change? Is it my attitude? Is it that I'm constantly saying I want to do stuff and I never deliver on anything? Is it that everybody around me seems to be unhappy and they're saying that I'm the reason? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Like, what is it that I'm trying to improve upon within myself? To figure out and answer that question, reflection is a big part of that. Also, that, the question, do I like myself? That is going to require a lot of reflection. What's the new version of me going to be? That's going to require a lot of reflection. Also, in this journey, there's really the start and finish. It's all on you, right? So you start and you're going in one direction, but then you realize, nah, not so much. You can start all over again. Like, no one's policing your journey. The point is, you got to keep going. Like, that's where we're going with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's your journey. You do it. You figure it out. But reflection is always going to be something that you're going to want to rely on, because you gotta hear, you gotta listen to yourself. You gotta learn to hear and trust that inner voice, right? You gotta learn what you sound like. I mean, if you can't like just have epiphanies in reflection, I don't know, like, and sometimes that's just sitting there, right? Sometimes people, they ride when they ride in cars alone, they don't listen to music. They just kind of let the thoughts go. Sometimes you maybe you think in the shower, maybe you think when you're cooking, maybe you think when you're cleaning, maybe you're a writer, so you want to journal. You might brain dump, or maybe you have like a guided journal. Whatever reflection means to you, meditation. All there's so many different ways, but that's definitely something you want to research and explore. Um, Stop worrying. This is a big one for me. It's it's a work in progress. The less you care or stress about something, the happier you're gonna be. Now, hear me out. When I say the less you care, I'm not saying don't care about people and don't care about things. That's not what I mean. But I definitely want people to understand that when you have issues, problems, something stressing you out, worrying about it has never changed the outcome. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. If anybody has a situation where they worried about something and it helped for the positive, please let me know in the comments, because I don't think so. So you can plan, you can anticipate, but like worrying, like sitting in the bad negative energy in that bad space, like that's not really adding a positive layer, if you will. You know what I mean? Like there's other ways that you can make use of your time and energy. Worrying though is not one of the things that I recommend. Detachment. Stop taking everything personally. I know people struggle with this because a lot of times we're in situations where we our feelings and our emotions take over things. There's different kind of relationships though that we can't necessarily let that take over our thought process and our state of mind, because like in the workplace, you might feel like somebody's picking on you, somebody doesn't like you or whatever. And there could be certain situations where you're not able to really do anything about it. As you could be in a situation where you can't afford to lose your job and actually remove yourself from the situation. You could have an immature boss and even immature power structure that person reports to. So you voicing your concerns and things may not necessarily get you what you need. Now, I'm definitely not saying stay somewhere that's not serving you and it's affecting you negatively and all that kind of stuff. But stop taking everything personally. I mean that in every sense of the word. In every relationship, in every situation, lean on perspective a little bit more. That might help you reach understanding and maybe a little bit of peace within, if that makes sense. Contentment. Being happy isn't getting what you want. It's about being grateful for what you have. So enjoy the space that you occupy, right? So for me, I've had a lifetime of having things, all kinds of things, just all kind of stuff that I want. You know what I'm saying? Just things. And when you get the things, there's a bit of joy, when you first get it, but it doesn't last, But I know that, like, really seriously being grateful for what I have in every sense of the word, the people that are in my life, everything, like it just kind of makes things better. And we will expound upon that in just a couple of minutes. Self-care, eye masks and bubble baths. Like if something drains you, it's probably not for you. The things that we can't remove, we can revamp them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this where reflection comes in. Like, so if there's somebody that you have to be around and you can't necessarily get rid of them, but it's just like, it's just taxing. And that could be your marriage. That could be your relationship with your parent. That could be your relationship with your children. Like, figuring out what's broken in that situation can really, really help. But if you know that this isn't right, like this just doesn't feel right, like we shouldn't be here all the time, like I shouldn't constantly just be depleted every time I'm with this person or around this person or doing whatever it is, Now, if it's expendable and it's something you can get rid of, then by all means, open up the window and let it go. But if it's not, then we might have to stop, take it apart, and figure out exactly What about this can I change to make the situation a little bit better? Resilience. Adversity molds resilience. Use it as your guide. Trust in the fact that, we've been through some really shitty situations. Obviously, people watching, I might not know you personally. I might not know everything you've gone through. But if you've lost someone, you've had bad breakups, you've been fired from a job, you might have had to quit a job, whatever bad, terrible thing has happened to you in your life, take heed in the fact that you're still here. You didn't die. You have the power within yourself to move on. Like, keep going. Like, that's the whole theme of this whole shit. If things get so bad, so terrible to where you have to stop for a minute, okay, but keep going. Take a break. Again, be kind to yourself. But you gotta keep going. There's also been like a debate going around online about, there's people who believe that, I sleep when I'm dead. And then there's like the nap warriors, right? People who respect naps. I do not subscribe to a situation where somebody say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's some stupid shit. Like, I believe hustle, take advantage of the moment, take advantage of your opportunities. Don't be stagnant, all that. Let's go. But you got to rest, because you can only physically live for days without sleep. And then after that, shit gets real bad in some real weird ways. Like, look up sleep deprivation and just how fucked up it really can get. So don't do that. That's And if you are in a situation where you're so stressed out that you can't sleep, like, seek help for real. If your stress level is so bad that you cannot sleep, you can't handle that by yourself. The trust tree might not be the answer. You might need somebody with some credentials and legit credentials behind their name to help you walk through that. I'm serious as fuck. Like, seriously. Like, sleep is important, just like eating and water and all that kind of stuff, okay? Brush your teeth, wash your ass, go to sleep, and eat, okay? All right. Good job. Okay. Experiences, sorry. Make them, cherish them. Like, stop focusing on things like with our kids and our families and our significant others and all that kind of stuff. Like, we can give each other gifts and the whole nine, but it's the experiences. Like, really, like, things lose value, but at some point in our lives, we could come to a point where all we have is our memories, make them. That way you got some. Like, I love when I'm chilling and for whatever reason I'm in my phone and I'm going back and I'm looking at pictures, right? And I'm like, oh, like, I remember when we did this and all that kind of stuff. Like, very seldom am I looking at my phone like, oh, I remember when I bought that. Who gives a shit? But those memories, those experiences that we share and the building that we do, like, that's what's important. Like, expound upon that for yourself. Like, put value into that. Make that a thing for yourself. Create a tradition this year. We got a little while left in 2024. Just make something up. I mean, Muffin Day. I don't give a damn. Whatever your thing is. You know what I'm saying? If you're a smoker, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have some kind of fucking weed party where, how people do those boards where they have color parties where you're orange, so everything on your board is orange. Whatever that means to you. Like, you could say, hey, we're gonna have a smoke out. Everybody bring a different strand. Separate it between hybrid, sativa, indica. Maybe the color blunt you gotta bring is the package gotta be white. Or if you bring a bong, that bitch gotta be white. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Just use your imagination. But create some memories. Create a thing, No, they're great. Wisdom. Never stop learning. Like, let wisdom guide you. That's simple. Learn. Read. Grow. Time. Time is the most precious resource that we have, like, for real. Like, spend that shit wisely, because it's not coming back. And when you realize that somebody in your life you're wasting time with, I mean, that's a lot. If whether you say that to yourself in your head or you say it out loud, that's a lot. That's a lot. If that is a passing thought that you have, that you sit and you kind of fester in, yeah, you got to evaluate that situation, because you don't get time back. Like, Straight up. The worst thing is to really sit and really seriously in real life feel like you wasted your time. That's not somewhere I want to be. Compassion. Compassion is a big thing, right? Because we talk about grace, extending it, receiving it. Like, show up for people in a real way. Give what you have when it's needed. And I mean, that can mean all kinds of different things. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't have something to give somebody. All you have is your time. All you have is your presence. All you have is maybe a hug or sit with somebody in silence, whatever. You know, if you do got a little bit more and somebody else needs something, you know, maybe you can give them what you got, you know? But compassion, whatever that means, exercise that. And then solitude. We talked about this in the beginning when we talked about reflection. Solitude fosters self-discovery and inner peace. It lives there. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to learn how to be you and be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you can't exist in a space with other people if your presence is not nurtured. You'll just get absorbed by everybody else, if that makes sense. Like, I've never really been in a position where I was uncomfortable being alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just be chilling. I don't need to be around a whole bunch of people. When I want to be around a whole bunch of people, I will, but I don't feel the need to do that because I enjoy myself. And if you can't stand yourself, then explore that. Like, what does that mean? Like, is it when you're with yourself, is it the thoughts that you have? Is it that you keep going back to negative places or there's a lot of bad memories? Like those are taking over that solitude. Like there's a lot that you can do to help you get through that. You know, sometimes, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to meditate. That shit is hard because you've got to let you gotta let all your passing thoughts just go. Like you can't claim them, you know, like, sometimes, you're trying to sit and think about nothing because you're really supposed to be releasing it and just being one with the universe. Kind of turn off your brain, give yourself, your mind, body, and spirit some rest. So you're supposed to just let it flow. But sitting there in quiet and not processing the fact that you need milk, bread, and you gotta go to the laundromat and oh shit, Usher's in town and damn, is there a new episode of whatever? Like what's new on Tubi? Like damn, did I pay this? Did I do that? Whatever. All the shit that flies through your mind when you're trying not to think about anything, you're trying to turn it off. Like that's the same thing with solitude. Like it's probably noisy at first, but you just got to get used to it. But it's letting it happen. You know, it's being able to take it. I would suggest trying to brain dump and get a notebook and just write down all the random stuff that comes out. That also helps organize thoughts as well. You kind of learn how to train and compartmentalize things. I'm not saying pack things away and not deal with them, but just in a way to help you organize so you can get a bit more clarity. And then gratitude. I've seen this maybe 100 times. Gratitude is a remedy for anxiety, right? You have anxious thoughts, negative thoughts, bad feelings, however you want to say that. Flip it to a thought of gratitude, right? So you wake up in the morning and you're anxious, right? You're worried about something. Stop thinking about whatever that is, right? And then start thinking about things that you're grateful for. It could be as simple as going around a room that you're in the moment and at each thing, you know? Like sometimes that's what you have to do, right? Like you got bills to pay and things are getting real, but you got a roof over your head. You're not worried about where your next meal is coming from, And I mean, there's all kinds of things. I don't know what you're grateful for, but figure something out. But the point is gratitude. Gratitude is everything. Like, I mean, we woke up. I'm here talking to you. You listening to me, Let's be grateful for that. Because it could be the opposite. I could not even be here to talk to you. You could not even be here to listen to me. I mean, I don't know. But I hope that all of these different things that we're exploring when we're walking through the process of doing the work are helping, are giving you some ideas to work on what you're trying to work on. We're gonna narrow down and really get into the planning stages with the next full episode of It's Not You, It's Me. But I came across this thing and I thought that this was also interesting. It's a bit more aggressive, but I think a lot of these things are relevant, and it's basically just a list of things that you should never do. And I'm interested to know what y'all in the room think. Never allow people to disrespect you, or it'll happen again. Um, Never allow anyone to tell you your goals are too big or impossible. Never date an unavailable person. This includes people who are married in committed relationships or actively using and addicted to drugs or alcohol or something else. Uh, Never forget your worth and your value, and don't let anyone define you in a negative way. Never settle for a life partner. It's better to wait long than to marry wrong. That's a motherfucker right there. Uh, Never allow toxic people to remain in your life. Never take anyone for granted. Remember, people are rented, not owned. This ownership in relationships thing is very interesting. There's a lot of stuff out there in these internet streets about that, like, as a concept. It's pretty interesting. I think if you're able to explore that and process it correctly, it kind of helps in terms of when you're in long term situations and they end. Um, but I mean, I think it's interesting. Uh, Never allow anyone to determine your work or career path. Never give up on the things that are meaningful or mean the most to you. Failure is not an option. What y'all think about that? Yep, yabba dabba do. Okay, okay. Then this was something that I pinned earlier. The one thing about Pinterest that irritates me is that I can never really tell where the shit really comes from. So I hope I'm not like stealing some shit and not giving proper credit, but this say it's from something called open source. So if open source is not a thing and this wasn't you, my bad. That's what it say. But it say it's a theory that changed my life. We spend so much time and energy trying to control other people and get emotionally affected trying to decipher their behaviors, failing to realize we have no control over them. We were not put on this earth to control other people's actions. It's not your job to analyze people's behaviors and jump into conclusions about why they're doing what they're doing. The truth is, you'll never truly know. This is where the let them theory comes in. A situationship doesn't want to commit. Let them. Someone is excluding you. Let them. Someone ghosted you. Let them. Not only is this so emotionally freeing, but it also allows people to show their true colors, and that is invaluable. You are then able to make better choices about the people you keep in your life. When I read this earlier, I stared at the wall for about 8 minutes because sometimes stuff is so simply put, but like so just like profound, it pisses me off because I'm like, damn. Like when you think about that, like those are like some of the super heavy hitters, right? Like being in the situationship, like you want to be with somebody and it's like the vibe is there. It's see all the boxes is checked, but they just not fucking with you like that. You gotta let them go. If someone is always excluding you from something, right? That could be family, that could be your homies. You find out they have a secret outings and shit behind your back or whatever. Like you could sit there and be like, well, what is it about me that they don't like? Why they don't like me? Are you really gonna get that answer though? You know? And then just allowing people to show their true colors is the best shit I've heard. Like I don't remember who said this shit, but it's ingrained in my brain. When people show you who they are, believe them, right? That's morphed for me into I'm casting people in the roles that they auditioning for. Like I'm dead ass serious about that shit, right? Because you cannot ignore what just keeps happening. Like, for real. If you keep getting in relationships with people and you keep having that same outcome, it's probably you, because you have a type and you're picking the same ain't shit people and you get in the same, outcome or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this is where reflection and solitude come in, right? All these things that we're learning and are coming into. Hi. Long time no hear from. What's up? And thank you for checking in. Um Sitting down and like exploring these things, right? Because when that little passage that I just read, the situation where people are excluding you, or you want to be with somebody that doesn't want to be with you, those are heavy hitters and things that people deal with on a daily, right? Those are things that really live rent free in people's heads. Like, people are trying to figure out, why doesn't this person like me the way I like them, or love, however you want to say that, right? People are trying to figure out, like, how come I'm investing all my time into these people that I'm calling my friends, but they just not fucking with me like that? Like, stop wasting the energy on trying to figure out the them part of it. That's the whole point of this, right? Because we are spending too much time loving on other people and we're not loving on ourselves. We're coming to terms one day realizing that I've completely lost myself. I don't even recognize the person that I am anymore. I don't know anything about myself. I don't know what I like, what I love. I know what I used to do, and I'm not doing that anymore. Now, it could be that you're not doing whatever that is anymore because it wasn't serving you in a positive way. That's great. But I'm saying, like, just we're pouring ourselves into everything and everyone else, right? And we're not doing anything for ourselves. And when we hit rock bottom in various different situations and we're trying to figure out how we got there, it's the space in between that we can reflect on and figure out how not to get back there, if that makes sense. So it was short and sweet. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you take everything that we just discussed and reflect on that. That's the whole point of this. I want us to reflect on these things, because when we move into the actual planning and execution phases, we need to know what we're planning and executing, right? We need to know what we're working on, right? Is it that I constantly am in financial ruin, so I got to figure out what the fuck's going on? Is it that I'm constantly getting my heart broken? I need to figure out how I keep getting there. Is it that I can't keep a job? Whatever it is, whatever you want to work on, right? We need to reflect on these things and listen and learn from us, from ourselves, right? Let's stop leaning on other people to fix us, right? Because we're the fixers. We need to Olivia Pope ourselves, okay? If you're in Chicago and you don't have nothing to do, check out Tuesday Therapy at Subterranean, BKA Sub T. Check that out. Get hip hop horny. Everybody needs that in their life. If you want to be on the Trust Tree, reach out to me on all the socials. The Nashvino, TheeNashvino. I believe Instagram is 1E though. Don't quote me on that. Until next week, in the words of Avon Barksdale, keep it light, but keep it.